What is up?
What is going on? So yeah, another
Live,
Saturday, man.
bitches.
Going live.
Well, not look at you all professional and shit.
Mm.
Drinking up, but I got drinking drinks tonight too.
Oh, I got some drinking drinks. What you drinking on tonight?
A little I know it sounds crazy. Little Winter Jack.
If you guys have never had Winter Jack, it's delicious. All my friends I put onto that love it.
It's
It only comes around during the holidays.
Yeah, you have to stock up on it during the winter time.
You got to get some bottles.
So yeah, I was just going through the liquor cabinet. So the neighbors in the cul-de-sac had like a bonfire the other night, or I say the other night. It was actually last night. I don't know what the fuck, but so yeah, I was just going through the liquor cabinet. I was like, I just want to drink something that's tasty. I could just pour it together and just sip on. And so I just made me a big drink of it and hung out by the bonfire and
got wasted.
I didn't get wasted at all.
Who got drunk? There's always that one.
Nope.
Neighbor.
You know what? They don't really have. I mean, the last time it was Phaedra. I'm being honest.
White girl wasted. Yeah, I heard.
She just got wasted. It wasn't even white girl wasted. She wasn't. It wasn't like a spring break, bitches. I mean, it wasn't nothing like that.
It was just like.
It was like, it's time to go.
I don't know where I am.
No, I wasn't like, you know how Phaedra gets when she starts talking loud. And you go, why the fuck are you yelling? I'm right here.
Yelling at me.
I'm not yelling.
You kind of want to be like Ice Cube.
Yeah.
We got a problem here.
Yeah.
We got a problem here.
And then I love her to death because then she'll get mad and then she'll start talking shit back to you. I'm not fucking yelling. Fuck you. I'm not.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, it's time to go.
She gets turned up. That's what happens. Oh.
So what's going on? How's your weekend been?
Man, the same every weekend has been just fucking boring, man. Ready for all this to
be over?
Pass us by. Yeah, man.
Yeah, keep waiting. It's gonna be a long time.
Yeah, we're locked down till at least the 10th of next month.
Yeah, it's gonna be. I mean, I'm working from home to the 15th, and I haven't heard anything for after that. And did you say so? So tonight we're up against Garth Brooks and Trisha at Grand Opry.
Yeah, man. Apparently they're doing a live show right now. That's some heavy competition.
That's
Garth he's a panty dropper.
You
put on some Garth, strange things are bound to happen.
Whew, them country girls are swoon.
You load up a country girl in your truck and you riding on a dark country road in the middle of nowhere.
Play Garth Brooks' version of Shameless. Whew, I'm shameless as a man can be. Ooh, that girl be like, oh, this man love me.
Put on some Thunder Rolls and them britches just roll right on off.
Oh, so women just love songs about getting beat, right?
That's it. That's it. Beat me, Kyle. Beat me.
Beat me. Oh. What's funny is like knowing that you grew up in the South, like it doesn't matter. You could be in the middle of fighting a motherfucker and you'd hear, blame it all on my roots. You're like, oh, whoa, stop. Time out. Time out. We got to sing this motherfucker.
Stop. I got to get my verses in.
And that's when you know that you've written a song.
Yeah. Yeah. When you can stop a fight in the county.
Hell yeah.
You're doing big things.
Look, we'll throw hands in a minute. It's fucking Garth.
That's right. You could be in the middle of robbing a department store and it come over the speakers and you're like, oh, whoa, wait a minute. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this.
Matt Lord in here.
Oh, snap. So,
what's up, Matt?
I got to ask, Matt, this new game everybody's playing.
What is it?
Shit. You would ask me the damn name of it. Snow. What is it called?
Oh, you were telling me about that, where they drive 18-wheelers in the. It's like ice. It's like Xbox version of Ice Road Truckers.
I guess that's what it sounds like. But I'm hearing, good reviews on it. And I saw him in a
no disc in car doors.
What?
Must be autocorrect.
I don't know what that is.
Oh, he said, I think he was going to say no dicks in car doors. Remember last week he was talking about slamming his dick in the car door. Yeah.
Drinking too many of them Steve Weisers.
That's right. No, so I didn't it's Not All in Snow. Oh, he was talking about, I guess the game, he said it's Not All in Snow. What's up, Aunt Kathy?
Oh, we're going to make Aunt Kathy. Oh, she's going to be getting on to us on this one.
Probably at some point, I'm sure.
You guys watch your language.
Oh, you can forget that. That ain't going to happen.
What is happening here? A little bit of awesomeness.
A little bit of
awesomeness. Just tune in. Just go get you some adult drink.
That's right. Sit back and wait out the quarantine with the rest of us.
That's right,
dude. I didn't play Xbox at all, and this week, and I don't know why. I just didn't, and I've started to get on it today, and I kid you not, this is no bullshit. We had errands to run, so we ran some errands and shit, and I come home, sat down, we were watching fucking the PBS cooking shows and shit, and Phaedra, they had like a bunch of cookbooks on sale at BJ's. And for people who don't know, BJ's is like a Sam's up here. It's the same thing. It's a little different because you don't have to buy quite as much as you do at like Costco or Sam's, but it's still like a bulk store like that. But so she's flipping through these cookbooks, and I was watching like, I don't know what it was, like Cook's Country or some shit. And all I remember is like kick back in the recliner, and I remember all I heard was waking myself up going, and I go, yeah, I'm gonna have to go lay down somewhere. We need a map. But what happened, dude, was like I was sound asleep at like 5 a.m, and I hear, and I go, what the fuck is this? And then it cut off, and I just go, oh, all right. So I'm trying to go back to sleep, and then I hear like a whole bunch of
shit.
That's fucking alcohol abuse. You done spilled your drink.
Look, man, it's this damn Stone Coaster I got.
So I hate those fucking things. So put your little salt, a little life pro tip. Just take a little salt, put it on that bitch, and it won't pick it up from the condensation. But going back to my story.
You know what? I got one better than that.
So I was laying there, and Matt said it's not all in snow. Oh, he's talking about the game. Yeah, the game's not all in snow. So I'm laying there, and I hear all this bunch of metal and shit banging together. And then I'm like, what the fuck is going on? It literally sounded like people were beating shit with bats outside my house. And I go, what the fuck is going on? It's not even 5 o'clock in the morning. So I get up, right? And I'm like, am I going to have to get this fucking shotgun? Like, what the fuck's going on, right? So I'm peeping out the window. It's a motherfucker delivering sod at like 4:45 in the morning on an 18-wheeler that drove all the way down into my cul-de-sac with his fucking forklift delivering sod at like 4:45 in the morning. I was like, dude, I should just put a warning shot in the back of your fucking truck.
I should load some bird shot and put some pellets in your ass.
What the fuck are you doing? It's
You know what it was? He probably stopped at the local truck stop.
I'm gonna tell you exactly what it was. This motherfucker had one delivery that morning. He was like, I'm dropping this motherfucker off and going back home and going to sleep.
I'm gonna go back to the truck stop, give me some of these lot lizards.
Hey, it might have been that too.
Wait a minute. Hold on. I can't do that. They got the COVID. They might have the COVID. I can't do that. I can't risk that, bro.
Oh, COVID. So yeah, and it was weird too because like they just about opened up everything in Georgia. So being in places and everybody was out and seeing normal traffic. Like we were going to go to the Varsity to get lunch. I kid you not, dude. There's like 40 people in the fucking Varsity drive-thru. I was like, dude, I like the Varsity as much as anybody. I don't like it that much.
What do you have? What do you have?
What do you have?
COVID.
I get the same thing every time, brother.
Little COVID.
Same thing every time. I get that combo that's a chili cheeseburger and a chili cheese dog. On the chili cheeseburger, make it with pimento cheese, baby, not regular cheese. And I get onion rings and a medium FO.
Y'all can have all that pimento cheese you want. That's just nasty. I ain't eating it.
I'm going to tell you right now, pimento cheese is God's gift to the white folk.
Okay. You might be right on that. You might be right.
Listen, I love pimento cheese.
For bougie white folk, it's cream cheese.
What's wrong? What do you mean? Cream cheese ain't bougie. You talking about ricotta? I'm sorry. As Giotto said, ricotta.
Oh man,
cream cheese is not bougie at all.
Yes, I had to go to Target today, and I quickly realized that the 6-foot rule has been tossed out the window here.
See, Matt knows I'm talking. That you damn right. Shit tastes good on anything. Thank you, Matt. Pimento cheese. Listen, you get you 2 pieces of fucking colonial. Hold on, stop.
Let me stop right there.
No.
Matt Lord is the type to go into Walmart and get a can of Spotted Dicks. This boy will eat anything.
Let me just tell you something. Listen, if you don't fucking eat it, so let me say, I'm not as real as some people are. Some people eat fucking Vienna sausages and then wash it down with the juice in the fucking can.
That's
not this much.
Right there.
I'll eat a can of Vienna sausages in a minute. My kid loves Vienna sausages.
Yeah, mine too.
I will take 2 pieces of fucking loaf bread, slap a little mayonnaise on them, a little pimento cheese, and go to fucking town. Ain't nothing wrong with that. But I know some people who in the wintertime loved Vienna sausages and would warm them up on the fucking engine block of their fucking truck in the wintertime. Would sit that shit up there on the engine block and let it get warm and toasty. Have to crack the can so it don't explode. But get them
This sounds like Mike Gossett.
I'm not gonna call names and point fingers.
That's Mike Gossett right there.
But
I tell you right now.
Let me just say, there had been some mornings where there was no Burger King and McDonald's fucking sausage biscuit. It was Vienna sausage and a piece of loaf bread if you was lucky.
If you was lucky, you might be lucky, you might not.
What Matt said, what about canned Spam? Let me just tell you.
All right, so Spam, here's the thing, man.
I love Spam.
You ever go to Hawaii?
Yeah, they have tons. They love Spam.
Dude, they love it.
Yeah. I'll take Spam and cube it up and fry it, and it's really crispy on all of them.
Dude, I'm gonna tell you guys a country boy recipe that I'd never heard of before. Right, so if you guys have ever watched the cooking videos of Matty Matheson, hilarious, fucking hilarious. He does all the Vice cooking shows. Well, he was doing Vice. I don't know what he's doing now, but hilarious, dude. Just his commentary on there is
right
gold, right? So he did this video and he said, yeah, man, for breakfast, man, I do bologna bowls. And I was like, bologna bowls? What the fuck is that? Like, I love
That's where you fry the bologna and don't cut it.
No. Get this. He said, you do it in a microwave, dude. He said, you take a bowl, you take your piece of bologna, you make you like an X on the outside edges so it doesn't curl up.
Right.
You know, it doesn't. Put that down in your bowl. You crack an egg over the bologna. You put a slice of cheese, Velveeta cheese on it. Put it in the microwave for a minute or two.
So let me stop you right there. I ain't eating microwaved eggs, but go ahead.
Hey, it's good.
There ain't when you said microwaved egg, I can tell you right now, ain't nothing good about it right there. Because ain't nothing good about a microwaved egg.
You can talk all.
Hey, listen to me.
You can talk all that noise you want to, because I'm the same way.
Let me just tell you
that
if you want to let somebody fart in your mouth, that's what a fucking microwaved egg tastes like. That's what it is. Oh, so hold on. Let me tell you a funny story. So in Flowery Branch, there's a restaurant called Antebellum, and it's like, it's been like in the top 5 restaurants in the nation for like 5 years in a row.
Right.
And it's not super fancy, but it's a pretty upscale restaurant. So one Valentine's Day, me and Phaedra went and had dinner there, and it was a price fixed menu, like 5 courses, and it was really, really good. But one of the courses was, it was like smoked salmon and creme fraiche on like a piece of toast, and then across the top of it they had like salmon roe. It was like salmon caviar, pretty much.
Fish eggs.
Yeah, fish eggs. So, and I'm not a big fish guy anyway, but it was okay. It was good. It wasn't super fishy or whatever. But I didn't do what Phaedra did. The first thing Phaedra did was scoop the first bite with that creme fraiche with like 6 fucking pieces of salmon roe and pop it in her mouth And the look on her face when she first bit down, she just and all of a sudden she goes, "It tastes like a fish just farted in my mouth."
Dude, if there's anyone watching that loves caviar, something is seriously wrong with you.
Like regular caviar, I mean, it's just
so
really,
let me tell you my
it's really salty, but it's really
my
fishy
horror
too.
story with caviar, right? So back in high school, I think it was like my freshman year. I was in the technology club or something. I don't know how in the hell I wound up in there, but I did. We took this trip to Jekyll Island, and there's a fancy ass resort there, right? So we go and get a room at the local hotel down the street, and the next day we're scheduled. They rented the place out. Yeah, like these nuts. Yeah.
TP, salty like
so they rented this place out, and they had us a room. They had the butlers. I mean, it was fancy as shit, right? So all you have is all these immature high schoolers in there, right? And they're serving like mimosas and just all kinds of crazy stuff. And so they sit us down, and some of this stuff we've never had before. Like, so we're daring each other. Oh, I bet you won't eat that. I bet you won't try that. And it gets around, and we all know what caviar is. Like, it's no secret. So they put a little fancy thing
of salty
caviar.
black balls. That's what it is.
And dude, 2 or 3 of us is like, fuck it, man, I'll try it. You know, just popped it in her mouth.
Yeah.
And dude, the look on that guy's face when everybody started spitting it back into the napkins on the table.
Yep.
Oh, we almost got tossed out of there. I was like, dude, I'm not eating that. That's disgusting. After that, I was like, I don't give a damn. If I ever become a millionaire, I ain't eating no caviar. I ain't eating no caviar, period.
It was funny. But the whole meal was really, really good. And it just made me think about that when you was talking about the egg in the microwave. That's what I think about with microwaved eggs. It just smells like a fucking fart, which makes so I was watching something, and maybe it was TikTok or something. I was laughing like hell. So it was like this girl that worked in a restaurant, and there was this line of like Hispanic cooks in the kitchen. They all had masks on and shit. And she goes, "Come on, man." She goes, "You really think those masks are going to help y'all get COVID?" She goes, "Let me just tell you something. If I farted right now, it could have to go through my butt cheeks, through my panties, through my pants, and you'd still fucking smell it. And you're going to tell me that mask going to keep you from getting COVID? Hell no."
I don't know, man. Some of the, like when this first went down, right? I went into the liquor store, right? So I was like, I need something to drink.
So you can't even go to the liquor store here. You can't even go. That you had to pick it up on the curb. I think some of them actually delivered.
I wish I could have got it delivered. That would have been great. But I walk in the store, and dude, this guy head to toe looked like he was about to ski down fucking Everest.
Oh yeah,
he had a ski mask on. He had a mask on top of that, and I'm like, dude, all I can think to myself is, what happens if you fart?
Yeah.
You in a full bodysuit, buddy.
Yeah, you'll be like the motherfucker on Jackass, where you just throw up all over yourself.
It'd be like Steve.
Well, here's the thing. Here's the thing that drives me crazy though. Is like I don't care whether you wear a mask or whether you don't wear a mask. I mean, you know, if you think they're effective and you're trying to help other people, because it ain't gonna keep you from getting it, but if you're trying to help other people and do the right thing, whatever, fine. But here's where I get pissed off. So like when you go to Publix or not just Publix, but most big stores like that, they literally have signs on the floor that go, "Hey, listen, walk this way down this aisle and walk this way down this aisle," because they don't want people to cross paths, right? They want everybody in the same direction. And there's just people who just don't give a fuck, man. And I just go, how hard is it
to just keep follow your distance?
Yeah, to keep it and just follow the fucking arrows. If they say don't go down the aisle this way, how fucking hard is it for you to not go down? I had to
get rude with a guy at Target today because they're still trying to implement 6-foot rule.
Oh, they don't
And
want
this
to do it?
dude literally just comes and stands like this close to me and is peeking over my shoulder trying to look at
Right.
something.
Yeah.
And I said, "Excuse me, man." And he just stood there, just kept on looking, you know. I said, "Hey, excuse me. Hey, buddy, can you back up a little bit?
Just
Can
give me a
you
little
give me a
room.
little room?"
Just a little
Oh,
room.
my bad. And I'm thinking to myself, are you asleep right now? Do you not know shit's still happening?
Yeah, they know. They just don't care.
All it is people are, they're starting to let their guard down because shit's opening back up. And these people are like, oh, they're opening business back up. Oh, it's fine. All this stuff. Oh, it's just, it'll blow right over. No.
And that's the thing. I think everybody wants it to be over. And again, look, I'm not going to get into whether I think whether it's as dangerous as people are making it out to be and all that good stuff, because that's a whole nother conversation.
Look, at the end of the day, here's how I feel about it. Do I want to be the guy, right, that is the cause of, hey, I caught it, but I'm a young guy. It doesn't affect me as bad. But I'm going to go out here and I'm going to go around town. I'm not going to, take any precautions. Someone else gets it from something I touch, and then they take it home to their fucking grandma. Like, I don't want to be that guy.
Yeah.
You know
No. And that's not what I mean. What I mean is, so all right, we'll get into it a little bit. So if you look at Sweden, right? Sweden didn't do any of that shit, man. They didn't. I mean, they social distance a little bit, but they didn't shut down schools. They didn't shut down businesses. People were still going to work. The only reason I know this is because my company is based in Sweden, and so when you look at what they did, and I get that Sweden is a much smaller country than we are, but population density wise, there are some spots in Sweden that are sort of relative. But irregardless isn't a word. Regardless, their numbers were no worse than anybody else's numbers, and they didn't take near as many precautions and shut the whole fucking country down. So there's an argument to be said of.
I didn't see any pull-ups over there.
So then there's an argument to be made of, should we have shut down the entire, country the way we did? I don't know. I think, maybe in some places we should, maybe some places we shouldn't. But for sure now, this is why I love my wife. So I text her, I go, hey, can you bring me like 2 fingers of bullet on ice, please? She goes, Jesus, what am I? Your fucking bartender? Laughing out loud.
Yes. Dude, we still need her to be a part of the podcast, man.
I mean, we've talked about that. We'll work something out.
You know what? She should be our guest tonight.
She has no I don't know that she has no interest in that, but just on the whim like that, she has no interest in that. She has 2 guest boys down there that she's trying to deal with. That's enough.
All right, let me I'll be right back. We're looking for. You sure? Apparently, I went to moving stuff earlier, and apparently there was a whole bag of like pull-ups for Braylon, and I don't.
Well, then teach her how to shit in the toilet,
dude. We've tried, and here's the thing: like when Adeline steps in, she won't listen to me or Brittany. When Adeline steps in, and says, "Hey, sissy, come on, let's go to the potty." She's great.
Yeah, it's not so easy not to hit that motherfucker when you're
it's kind of all up in your shit.
So let me just give you the best advice I can give you. Let her walk around without anything on.
We've tried that too.
Because they don't.
Here's Braylon's thing. I'm gonna do what I want at the time I want to do it. That's her thing, man.
I get that. She's independent.
Yep. So
yeah. So that's COVID. We can move on to something else.
Okay. Speaking of COVID, have you guys seen in the news about the U-Haul trucks? We're talking about this. That is insane.
Oh yeah, where they were loading the bodies.
It's crazy, man.
Yeah, I told you when we were talking about it. Listen, there was a time when I had read somewhere they were saying like 18 people a day were dying in like apartment buildings that nobody was even knowing about until like they found them. Yeah, I mean it's crazy. But again, like you look at New York, man, the population density in New York is like ridiculous. I mean, there's people on top of each other, which is why it blew up so much there. But yeah, I mean, but they have to move those people somewhere, and then they're I don't want to say cooler, but yeah, they're cooler broke, so they had to do something. Otherwise, they're going to have a really bad situation on their hands. So,
could you imagine the people like in that neighborhood by that funeral home walking outside and smelling?
But Italy, it was even worse in Italy, man.
Like decomposing bodies is like,
yeah. I mean, in Italy, it was like that, man. Like they were just stacking them up, and then all the funerals, they wouldn't let you have any family funerals or anything. They were just putting these people in the ground where they could put them in the ground, and that was it because they
ride.
Yeah, I mean, it was just crazy, and yeah, I mean, it sucks for the places that it's really bad, man. Because I mean, I get it, it's scary.
Yeah.
But I will say that it looks like most of the people that have gotten it and died have had some sort of, underlying condition. Like they were
health problems.
They had some kind of sort. Not everybody. Right. But most of the people were really they were older people, and they had other issues besides just COVID. But there are some really strange things, like over in Europe, like the kids that get it are developing like this rash. It's like this really crazy rash. And
here's the thing, man. There's when this thing hit, there's gonna be harder strains of it out there. Different strains.
Yeah. I think
that's crazy.
Yeah, I think the thing that's really hard for them, and that's why I say like a vaccine. Like even if they come out with a vaccine, it's going to be just like the flu vaccine. It's only going to be their best guess of the strain that it's for, and it's not going to work for everything. So, it's still going to be bad. But again, I'm telling you right now, in the fall and in the wintertime, it's going to be the same. It's going to be a seasonal thing like the flu. I would venture to guess. Is it going to be as bad as it is now? We're going to quarantine every year. I don't know. I mean, eventually you would think like the flu, I mean, herd immunity at some point will kind of kick in and be like, all right,
dude, this whiskey is giving me hiccups like nobody's business. If y'all hear me over here making strange noises. Is
it the cinnamon? What is it, Fireball?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's probably what it is. Yeah. I started drinking, I was
like, but yeah, I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy. And then that's the other thing. So the news is sort of just consumed with COVID, and they're just dropping these crazy news stories left and right that nobody. It's like they hit.
No one's paying attention to. Yeah,
nobody's paying attention to. So like when we were having meetings at work, I was talking about the DoD releasing. Well, it wasn't really the DoD; it was the Pentagon releasing the UFO video. And I just go, nobody's talking about this. Like it's literally it's literally a video where they go, yeah, we don't know what the fuck this is.
I have no idea what that is.
Yeah,
there's no explanation.
This is a spacecraft, and this is some type of craft that flies in a way we've never seen before. We have no clue what it is. And I just go, why isn't this front page news? Like this is huge. Nobody's talking about it whatsoever.
And it's going to be like a month or two down the road, you're going to have a fire in the sky, guy come out of the woodworks. Yeah. Walked in the backyard. I was feeding the dogs.
You already kind of had. I mean, like Bob Lazar, like and people try to discredit him and say he's a kook and all that kind of stuff. But the truth is, a lot of the shit that he said in the '80s has come out to sort of be true. A lot of it. And so, like when you look at how that was the thing that was so amazing to me was that because like Bob Lazar was talking, and the people that don't know who Bob Lazar is, Google him because it's really interesting. But long story short, there's this guy who claims that he worked in a building, not at Area 51 per se, but a building that was part of what would become Area 51. And he was asked to help reverse engineer actual alien spacecraft that we have gotten. Now, I don't know whether we got them in Roswell or how we got them or whatever, but apparently there was like 6 or something of these crafts of various different things. And they were trying to reverse engineer the technology that was in them. And so he was he was talking about all these kind of crazy things. And Like the security to go in and out, and they scan the bones in your hand, and because apparently like nobody's bones in their hand are the exact same lengths, and it's almost like your fingerprints are all different. And come to find out that's a normal thing now. Like depending on like, when you go into but in the 80s when they were saying this, people were like, what the fuck
are you talking about?
Right.
Yeah.
And but the way he explained that the way the crafts move was using this sort of element that we hadn't discovered yet. They would create there was enough energy in it to create their own sort of gravitational field that would literally bend the space in front of them. And he explained it like if you take a bowling ball and you sit it on a mattress, right? It'll sit on that mattress fine and not roll. But if you take your hand and push the mattress down in front of it, the bowling ball rolls forward. And they were saying that he was saying that's really how the spacecraft would move, was it would bend the space in front of it and it would roll forward, but it would do it in at the speed of light. So it was like it would just roll forward that quick. And that's how it would move and maneuver quickly, because it would just bend the space around it and move whichever direction it wanted to, which you were like, that's cool, but sounds like a bunch of bullshit, right? But then when you watch this video, and the way that the craft moved was exactly like that. It literally leaned forward and then just sort of like, and it was just really interesting. So, but again, whether you believe in aliens or not or whatever, all of that stuff is very, very interesting to me. First of all, I don't think we're alone in the universe. The universe is a huge place, and to think that we, number one, would be the only ones here, and number two, there will be nobody more technically advanced than we are, is just asinine. I mean, I don't know how anybody would believe that.
Oh yeah, definitely. And then I mean, even like we both watch the show Ancient Aliens.
Yeah.
Some of that technology, man, you think in your head, like, there's no way. There's literally, man himself cannot move that mass.
Oh, yeah.
Of material.
I mean, you can talk all that shit you want to about they rolled it on logs and all.
There's no way, dude.
Well, I mean, even the math involved in some of that stuff is great. I mean, I get some of the arguments of like, well, there were pyramids all over the world because they were the soundest structure. I mean, I get some of that, right? If you're going to build the most stable structure, you would build a pyramid. But it's not just building a pyramid, man. It's building a pyramid where the chambers inside that pyramid line up with constellations that literally,
at a certain time of the day, as the sun setting.
Listen, here's the other thing. Yeah. I'm guaranteeing you, most people don't know this. Like the pyramids aren't 6-sided, right? The pyramids are literally, each side caves in. They literally concave in. So it's really two sides when you're looking at it. You can't see it from the ground, but when you're up in the sky and it's the summer solstice and the sun shines down on it at the right angle, you see the shadows and you can tell that it's concaved in like that. So those are the questions I ask, like, why would you make something that you could only see from the sky? The Nazca lines, like all of those kind of things where the only way you can see any of that stuff is to be from the sky. So,
and then you have to think about another interesting thing is, some of the research they've done to find from an aerial view, these massive, like outlines of a man or a mass.
That's what I was saying. The Nazca lines.
Yeah. And that's insane, man.
Well, I mean, even if you go to some of the places in the Middle East where, and Asia too, where they've uncovered literally like monoliths, like these huge fucking towers with shit carved on them that were buried for some reason, like years and years and years ago. I mean,
and they have. I was reading somewhere that there are a few of these that they found in the jungle. They're massive, like stone statues, right, of faces and masks.
Yep. Yeah.
And they have almost like a gravitational pull to them, right?
Yep.
And when they walk up to this thing and they try to meter it, the meter just goes off the scale. It doesn't know what the hell's going on. You walk past it, goes back to normal.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's so much crazy things out there, and there's so many things that can't be explained, and how that, because I don't think we'll ever really know. Because somebody was saying, and I don't know. Again, I don't know how true this is, but I'd read an article somewhere where somebody had started to take a project where they were taking all the pyramids that were on the Earth and started to kind of grid them out, and it looked like it was like creating this perfect grid amongst, if
that was your bartender, you better damn well tip her. You hear me?
that was actually my kid.
No, they don't. No tip for you.
And I said 2 fingers, and she brought me this like half full. She's trying to get me drunk and take advantage of me. That's what she's trying to do.
Yep.
But it's bullet, so it's good shit.
She's gonna get you drunk, and then when you leave the wallet on the nightstand, she's going Amazon shopping. That's what's gonna happen there.
She does that every night anyway, flipping that shit on.
But yeah, man. It's obvious that the technology that they were putting in place to make these signs to be viewed, from the sky, you're obviously trying to communicate with something. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, and I've even said before too that it's really interesting because if you think about it in terms of what if we're just a less evolved version of whatever it is, because that kind of theory has been kind of brought forward too, where it goes, what if you're a civilization who can't reproduce anymore for whatever reason, and the only way that you can reproduce is to have your own little, for lack of a better term, petri dish of that. You're going to wait however millions of years to get them to evolve into what you need, because maybe your lifespan now is way more than it would be on Earth, because you've evolved to live thousands of years or whatever the case may be.
And not to kind of go off subject, but I've read, and me and you have both been interested in this sort of thing where people say that there's different planes. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, different dimensions and stuff. Yeah,
exactly.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And the crazy thing is, speaking of that, like, me and Nick had a conversation one night about like weird dreams that we've had over the years.
Oh yeah, we've had almost the same dream. Yeah,
almost the same dream, right? Yeah. And it's really weird because this dream, at least my version, and Nick's is similar, was almost like I woke up feeling like I've seen both heaven and hell.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I don't know if it's my own version of it. I don't know if it's the version of it. I have no idea.
And I would say I'm sure it's a pretty common dream for
a lot of people. Yeah.
For a lot of people, yeah.
But it was really weird because, and I've had it, every once in a blue moon, I'll have this dream over again. It's really weird. It is literally this seaside cliff, right? So imagine like a seaside cliff, the ocean's, hundreds of feet,
right?
Down off this cliff, and this cliff had these stairs, right? And I remember walking up these stairs, and I'm on this cliff, and if you could imagine, like, say the Green Isles of Ireland or some shit, right?
So that's what it was like. It was really green like that.
Yeah. So it's really green.
But are the cliffs like in the clouds? Is it like foggy?
It's like in the clouds, right? Yeah. Right. So you could see like the hillsides, the green hillsides. There's clouds, and as you get up these steps, it was like this, almost like this boardwalk, right? But it was this weird boardwalk where there were these. It was almost like being at a farmer's market almost. There were these stands. There were people selling food and whatnot, and all this produce and stuff. And as I'm walking, there's Christmas lights, and it starts getting almost dark, right? So I can see the stars and everything. I'm walking on this boardwalk, There's Christmas lights. That's the only light on this boardwalk. I'm walking down this boardwalk and I start recognizing people walking past me. Like, that's a loved one that I've lost, you know?
Yep.
And I'm turning around. I'm like, I know them, you know? And I remember in the dream, like tapping one of our family members on the shoulder, and they turn around and smile as to say, I know who you are, but I'm not going to say anything to you. And they just keep on walking. And it's really weird because.
Well, dreams are weird like that anyway.
Yeah. And then it's almost like the dream flips to the dark side of things, and I'm literally on this like a parking deck, right?
Mm-hmm.
Everything around, as I can see, I'm on a floor of this parking deck. The parking deck's on fire. I'm looking out of this floor on this parking deck. Everything's in shambles, and you can see people. People are on fire, like, you know, just screaming for help and everything. You're just watching all this stuff unfold.
Right.
And just like that, I wake up.
Yeah.
And it's just, I don't know, man. It's weird.
So let's get really deep. Let's get way out there. So when me and Phaedra first got married, even before me and Phaedra got married, I mean, even before me and Phaedra met, I used to have these really vivid dreams. I mean, really like almost like lucid dreaming, like it was like for real.
Yeah.
And it was really intense dreams, and I would get to where I realized I could control like pieces of the dreams, you know, like I could, you know, like if there was a part of the dream, and at first there weren't really like nightmarish. They were just sort of like really intense sensory overload sort of things, you know, like you could swim in the water like a dolphin and jump out and come back. I mean, I know that sounds crazy, but it was like that. Like, and it was like you were really, and then as soon as you felt like you were controlling the dream or whatever, you would wake up. But then it slowly rolled into like darker and darker things, right? And then it would be like these really like creepy, evil sort of like nightmares that I would wake up from, and like, you know, wake up pouring sweat and like heart beating and just be like, you know, want to wake up and flick the light on because you were freaked out sort of dreams. And so and then they got more intense and more real and more intense, more real, to where I got to where I was like, okay, I got to start trying to control some of this. Like, you know, tell myself like, I'm dreaming, like this isn't real, blah, blah, whatever. And then I got to where I could do some of that, where, you know, no matter how intense the dream got, I could do certain things in the dream. You know, like one of the things I noticed was that I would always look for a mirror because I could never see my reflection in a dream. I know that sounds crazy, but and I don't know, maybe I read it somewhere or something. But I would try to look for a mirror in a dream, and if I couldn't see my reflection, like, oh, I'm dreaming, that would, you know, I know this sounds Inception, like spin the top or whatever, but it literally it was like that. Like I would try to figure out things, and I don't remember. It's been so long since this happened to me, but I would literally try to figure out ways to figure out I was dreaming. But then it got to be where I would literally get in these full on fight in my dreams with these like evil things. And I'll never forget, I was asleep on the couch. This is when me and Phaedra had first started dating, and they were starting to ramp up, and they were kind of starting to ramp up. And I'd had a couple of bouts where I'd woke up. I had like sleep paralysis, where I'd woke up and seen shit in the room and I couldn't move and that kind of thing. And this one particular night, I had fell asleep on the couch. Phaedra had went to bed, and I remember distinctly, and it's so crazy because it's so real to me now. Like literally, the hair on my arm is standing up talking about it. I had this dream, and it was the craziest thing. It was like the body of a man, right? Head of a wolf, right? I mean, like head of a wolf, teeth. If you could think of what the big bad wolf would look like in a Three Little Pigs movie, but he was dressed in like a zoot suit from the 30s, right? And I know it sounds silly, and it was silly, but for all intents and purposes, this thing was in my dream to hurt me, right? And so I had this crazy vivid dream where we went at it like back and forth, and like, and of course, in my dream, I'm like, I don't even know what this is. This is like a werewolf. I can't fight a werewolf barehanded or whatever. And so like in my dream, I'm starting to try to control things and make things happen, and like make doors unlocked that I'm approaching, like that door's got to be unlocked and all this kind of stuff. Anyway, in the middle of this dream, through different controlling and like, starting to think about like what I can picture in my head pop up or whatever, I somehow or another end up killing this thing in my dream, and ripping literally ripping its head off. And I can't remember the how it happened, but I literally ripped his head off in the dream. And I remember waking up, and it was so real that I had to go take a shower because I could not convince myself that I wasn't covered in like blood and scrapes and stuff like that. Like I had to go take a shower. And I had several more after that. And then for some reason, it just sort of stopped. And I think it was like when Keaton was born, it didn't happen anymore. But it was the weirdest thing. And I used to have these weird things too. And I remember being younger, and having like weird shit happen in my room. Like I would tell mama about it or tell nanny about it, and they were like, "Oh, that's it's just your imagination." I'm like, "No, it's not my fucking imagination. Like
that shit's real.
That shit's real." But yeah, I used to have like crazy vivid dreams like that, and it was almost like you start to feel like, okay, is this like you were talking about the whole thing? Get back to the point to come full circle was like you were talking about different dimensions and planes or whatever, and it was one of those things where you start to kind of wonder, like, am I on another plane? Like,
you get that feeling,
right? Am I really killing this thing in some other world that I don't know about, that I'm not even supposed to be there in, or whatever? And I've said the same thing about like having dreams about Dad after he died, where I was like, is this some kind of weird convergence where, whatever plane that you're on, whether it's heaven or purgatory or wherever Dad happens to be, and whatever plane I'm on, and somehow or another they kind of mix together, and for the 45
second,
for the 45 minutes I'm asleep or whatever, we get to kind of hang out for a minute. Neither one of us really understand it, and we just kind of just appreciate the moment, and then boom, we wake up and it is what it is. I don't know. I don't understand any of that. And it might all be in my mind. I don't know. But I can tell you that every time I've had one of those dreams like that, it's been fucking intense.
Here, since we moved here, and this actually happened about 2 nights ago. 2 brothers.
That's right. 2 brothers from the same mother.
From the same mother. Yeah. Or so we think. Yeah. I hope so. Daddy was a pimp. But no, about 2 nights ago, and since we moved here, I've been able to wake up and remember the entire dream.
Oh yeah, that happens to me a lot.
And there for years, man, like I would wake up for a split second, I remember a piece of the dream, and just that fast it would be gone, right? But since we've got to Virginia and moved here, I wake up and I literally wake up in the morning and I could tell Brittany the entire dream, beginning to end, and every single detail. And I had a really, really, really strange one the other night. Wow, I woke up. It was, I woke up during the morning time. Of course, the sun was up and everything, but I woke up scared to death, man. Like butterflies in my stomach,
heart
ready
beating out your chest,
ready to shoot somebody. And what the dream was, and it was really weird thinking about it. It's almost like you were saying, it gives you chill bumps. We were walking through this pasture, right? And this pasture had just a level playing field, sort of pasture, and it had chain link fence bordering it. Beyond the fence was tall pine trees. And I'm sitting there walking. I remember Brittany's in the dream when she's walking beside me. And I look over and she's just like bloody from head to toe, like just, just literally looked like she had gone through a world war. Right. And I start looking at my arms, and I'm beat the hell in back too. And I have a damn gun slung over my shoulder. And I pull it up over my shoulder, and it's old school iron sight, like a war gun. Yeah. And about that time, I look up, and there's like people just running for their life. And as I look ahead, there's a highway.
Towards you or away from you?
Oh, like around me. Like everyone's running. You better get on somewhere, girl. There's a highway. And all I could think in my mind, I looked at Brittany, I was like, we got to get to the highway. I don't know what that highway, what it goes to, but we need to get there. And about that time, if you can imagine, like the bombs, like dropping atom bombs, and the propellers, spinning the whole way down, and they're kind of aiming the camera out of the bottom of the airplane.
Right.
I see that for a minute. And about the time I look up, one drops and just fucking barrels into the ground next to me. And one drops in front of me and blows this guy into a million pieces. And I stop for a second. I'm like, holy shit. And I look up, and there's just planes coming up overhead, dropping bomb. Boom, boom, boom. And I'm sitting there running for the highway. And I get to the highway, and I wake up. And I woke up like scared. And I was telling Brittany about it. And I was like, that was the strangest dream I've ever had in a long time.
It's
for
weird.
me to be able to, what does it mean?
Right. Not only does what does it mean, but then you start trying to figure out, like, what caused it. You know what I mean? Like, what triggered that sort of thing. That for me, that's is like, did I eat something different or whatever?
And they say that there's people that say that it's a combination of all your thoughts and your anxiety and all that stuff in your head.
Yeah.
And as you dream, it's your brain trying to process all that information, and it just comes out the way it comes out.
Well, that's the thing. Well, somebody was saying, they say that your brain ignores way more than, not ignores, but throws away way more than what you comprehend, because it's only concerned with what you need to know at that point. But like, it's taking in the color of the wall and how much light there is and what the temperature is, and like all these, innate things, and the color of the person's hair that walk by you, and like they're taking in all of this stuff. Your brain's taking in all this stuff, but it's discerning what you need to know at that point in time. So yeah, like, when you have dreams and you go, well, how the fuck am I making faces in my dreams of people I've never seen before, right? But you probably have seen them. You just didn't realize it because you didn't really pay attention, and your brain didn't register that. My thing is the thing that gets me is I have tons and tons and tons of deja vu dreams, right? Where and it happens all the time, where I'll be in a situation where I go, I've dreamed about this.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Or I've been here before.
A lot here lately, like not so much. And it kind of hit me a deja vu, because it kind of hits you all at once, and it stops you in your tracks.
Well, then you start trying to remember what happened, and you can never remember what happened.
And you're like, okay, why am I remembering this?
But I'll give you one that's crazier than that. Is when, and this is what happens to me all the time. Let's just, for example, let's just say I get up, realize I'm running late for work, and I leave and realize I left my book bag and my laptop sitting there. So I'll get to the end of the subdivision, turn around and go back and get my book bag. And then as I'm leaving for work, I'll get to a spot where there's this horrific wreck, right? There's like 3 cars involved, and somebody died or whatever. And then you start thinking like, and look, it may not be that way at all, but you start to think about, well, fuck, man, if I hadn't turned around and went and if I didn't forget my book bag and turn around and go get my book bag,
that could have been me.
That probably would have been me in some way or something. You know what I mean? Now, is that true or not? Who the fuck knows, right? But then you start thinking about just how interconnected every single choice you make every day
is.
It is, and so you start to think about things like, people thought Einstein was crazy when he was saying like just the flutter of a butterfly's wings, on the other side of the world could cause a hurricane. You know what I mean? And you go, what? That's fucking insane. And maybe to that degree it is, but things are so interconnected like that to where, if you just stop and tie your shoe, it could be the difference between you getting hit by a car or a fucking, piece of glass falling on.
Definitely.
Like just all of that kind of stuff and just how crazy, time is interconnected that way. It's all that kind of shit is so interesting to me.
Just like the actor Mark Wahlberg, he was supposed to be on one of the 9/11 flights.
Oh yeah.
All it was is something happened. He got something happened. I don't know if it was a phone call or something got canceled somewhere, and he rescheduled his flight, and all that stuff went down. And to this day, he still goes, all it took was that whatever series of events led up to that, or I would be dead.
What's crazier in that one is the ones that were on the plane that they lost. Do you remember the one they lost? They didn't, the whatever the flight was. I can't think of the name of it now. It was the M, whatever it was, the Malaysia flight. Yeah. And then there was like 2 people that were supposed to be on it that didn't get on it, and so they made it whatever. And then like those 2 people died from other causes, and you just go, well, is Final Destination kind of true? Like, you cheated somehow or another. You were supposed to be on that plane, and you cheated death, and death came for you anyway.
Back, full circle, man.
You know what I mean? So it's just really weird. It's really weird things like that. We got off on some crazy shit tonight.
Hey, it's fine.
Yeah, it was just
because I'm sure we're not the only ones that's watching this. Is like, you know what? I've had some pretty fucked up dreams too, and I've had that dream more than one time. I'm sure we're not the only 2 people.
Yeah, and what's crazy to me though is I'll have dreams that aren't necessarily like scary things, like scary subjects or whatever. It's not like demons or ghosts or somebody chasing you or like a scary situation. But the dream itself is just weird and creepy, and your anxiety gets ramped up, and you wake up and your heart's heart's beating and palpitating, and you're just all sweaty and shit, and you're just like, what the hell was that about? Yeah, what the fuck was that about?
The hell is that about?
Yeah, and then it takes you a while to get back to sleep because you kind of have to calm yourself back down.
I've got one that I used to have all the time when I was younger, and I'm so glad I don't have it anymore.
You're gonna have it tonight now,
probably, because I've been on some drinky drinks,
right?
But it was the weirdest dream, and it was one of those dreams that, like we were speaking on, makes you feel like you're on a different plane. And you know it in the dream. You're like, dude, this is not where I'm supposed to be. Right. I don't belong. What the hell am I doing here? But it was so weird, man. And to this day, I remember every single freaking detail of it. I was in this valley, and there's like these mountains around me, these tall pine trees, and it's pitch black dark at night. And for whatever reason, someone decided to put this fucking carnival in the middle of this valley.
Like a big carnival, or like just a small?
Think of the Perry Fair. The Perry Fair is sitting in the middle of the night in this damn dark valley, surrounded by pine trees.
Man, that's fucked up. No,
and it's not a whole bunch of people, right?
Right.
It's maybe 10, 15 people there tops.
Right.
And it's one of those old school like carnivals where the guy's walking on the stilts and he's flipping the damn, the bowling pins and shit. Yeah. And I walk past as if I'm walking through the entrance, and he looks at me and says, "Have a good time, fella. You're going to enjoy this one." And next thing I know, I'm on this ride and I can't get off of it. And this thing's fucking me up. Like I'm losing my stomach. Like I've got butterflies, the whole thing. And I'm looking around and I'm screaming at the guy running the controls, "Let me off, dude. Just let me off." And the guy looks at me and kind of winks at me and nods his head. "You can't get off this ride." And it just keeps going.
Yeah. And so you wake up?
And boom, I wake up. And here's the fucked up part. I wake up still with butterflies in my stomach like I'm on the ride until I get fully awake.
So when I was little, I used to have this dream. God, it's so weird how things that creeps you out as a kid, even at almost 40 years old, like just thinking about it makes the hair stand up on the back. And it's not even a scary thing. But as a kid, it was super fucking scary. And it was like a radio station, right? Why at like 5 or 6 or 7 years old, I was having dreams about a radio station. I have no idea. But it started where I thought so in the dream I was dreaming, I was dreaming, or I was in my room or whatever, and the radio, all of a sudden the music stopped on the radio, and it was like I'm trying to remember. I remember it still to this day. This is so weird. I remember it still to this day to the exact T. So it goes, we've taken over this radio station and we can do whatever we want. We can say things like, and I remember distinctly, it was like this really like jokery voice was like, the pies are ready. And it was like, you could hear somebody screaming and getting hit with a pie, but it was like the creepiest. It sounds silly, but it was the creepiest fucking thing
to be ever. A kid,
and like hear that. So, but the thing is that, in my dream, I was dreaming that I was in my room hearing that on the radio. And so the next thing you know how dreams, all of a sudden you're just in another place. Like you just don't. So then all of a sudden we're at this radio station because I'm trying to tell somebody like, hey, this is not like, you need to help these people because somebody's taken over this radio station or whatever. And I remember the police officer turns around, there's like a cop or whatever, and this lady that I guess she was a receptionist or whatever is trying to tell the police officer, yeah, like the first record we ever played was up there and they've stolen the record. They stole the record, the first record we ever played. And I'm trying to pull on the cop's jacket and I'm like, hey, like, listen, Mr. Officer, like I like you need to help whoever's in there, whatever. And I'll never forget it. Like even thinking about it now, it's creeping me out. The cop turns around and he goes, hey, leave me alone, will you, kid? And he had like the face from the Pink Floyd in the Wall video where it's just a blank face with like, holes where your eyes should be and there's no eyes there. And there's like a black, it was the creepiest thing. And I remember waking up, right? And the radio be playing and was so scared that at any moment that radio was going to do what had happened in my dream. Yeah. And I was, I can't go back to sleep. I can't go back to sleep. And the thing is I would have some version of this dream multiple times through my childhood, and it would freak me the fuck out every time I had it.
And it's one of those things, man. It's like, what
does that even mean? What does that have to do with any fucking thing?
It over and over. Obviously, there's a meaning to it. What the hell's the meaning?
What is the meaning to it? Yeah. But again, like going back to like just crazy things like that. Because I mean, I can sit here and tell stories all night about creepy and crazy shit that's happened. But I'll tell you. So a lot of people don't know, and I think Niles knows. But like when I was growing up, I used to have seizures. Like I had like mild epilepsy. Like they had me on Dilatin and stuff. And like I think the doctors had convinced mom there was like because at the time saccharin was like the sweetener of choice. Like nobody was using sugar, everybody was using saccharin, like sweet and low and whatever. And I think the doctors had convinced mom that like whenever she was using saccharin for like Kool-Aid and fucking sweet tea or whatever it was, and that's what was triggering my seizures or whatever. I don't know whether that's true or not. Still this day I don't do sweet and low. Like I'll do Splenda
I don't, for the simple fact I don't like the way I feel when it hits my system. It makes me feel like
so I've had a couple times where that was all that there was, and I've put it in my coffee and it was the same deal. Like first of all, it tasted really metallic to me. Yeah. And yeah, it just anyway. So I used to have seizures and I was like 5 or 6 years old. And I'll never forget it. So I had to be like 6, maybe 7. I was probably 6. And Dad was getting me on the weekends, and I don't know if you remember this, but they used to have this little. You wouldn't remember it, of course, because there's 8 years difference between us. How the fuck would you remember? But anyway, there used to be like this little mini bike and go-kart place, like on Rumble Road, and like right before Macon, where Rumble Road's at. And so, of course, Dad knew who owned it because Dad knew every fucking body at some point in his life. And so on the weekend he would take me and let me ride the go-karts or whatever. But I'd never ridden a mini bike. And when I say mini bike, it was like a little CR50s where you don't have to really shift gears, and even if you did, it was automatic. There was no clutch on it or anything. So I remember riding one, and then I remember I wrecked one and like hit a bale of hay, and it kind of threw me over the handlebars a little bit and kind of hurt my shoulder or whatever. And so, so he had dropped me off at home, and I don't remember having a seizure because you don't remember that, of course. But apparently I'd had a seizure, and what had happened was I come home and my shoulders hurting or whatever. So mom had said, "Hey, get in the bathtub and take a hot bath and let it kind of soak, and you'll probably feel better, whatever." I had gotten out of the bathtub, put my PJs on, and everything, was getting ready for bed, and Mom had gotten in the bathtub for whatever reason. As gross as it sounds, my mom had this habit of, like, I don't know if she grew up poor and she wanted to save water or whatever, but she would reuse the hot water that I had taken a bath in, and like would just warm it up and take a bath in the same bath water that I had taken a bath.
Probably because it was broke as shit.
Maybe, I don't know. I mean, we were poor folks, but anyway, but she would do that all the time. So she was in the bathtub taking a bath. Apparently, I'd had a seizure, and I don't think she knew about it at all. I remember, and again, plain as day, this is absolute true story, where I remember I the seizure was over, and I kind of had come to or whatever, and this, I'm going to say figure because I don't know any other way to describe it, but it looked like Mom, but I knew that it wasn't Mom because I could hear Mom in the bathroom taking a bath. Like, I knew that she was in the bathroom, and it had whoever it was that had like this, what looked to be like a warm washcloth in their hand, and put it over my head and said, like, at the time, was the most calming thing. And that was the other thing. Like, I wasn't nervous. I wasn't like, or just the most calming thing, and just put the brush rag over my head and put their hand on my head like this, and never forget it. Look me in my eyes in the most caring voice I'd ever heard in my entire life, and goes, "Don't worry, son. This will be the last seizure you'll ever have. You'll be okay." Never had another seizure for the rest of my life.
Yeah, I remember that.
Never had to take medicine. Never had to do. It's the craziest thing. Just never happened.
And it's one of those things. Like, I don't know if Nanny ever had this conversation with you, but I remember her telling me when I'd stayed the night with her at the Dempsey, in downtown, and I'd had a nightmare or something. And of course, Nanny would stay up late watching TV or whatever.
Right.
Most nights, anyway. She always kept her lamp on, beside the bed.
We had that black and white TV in her room. She would keep on all the time, anyway.
Yeah, and I'd had lay down in the bed, fell asleep, and had a nightmare. And woke up, and I woke up, and I remember telling Nanny about this dream, and Nanny, I'll never forget it, just plain as day, goes, "Well, you guys can see stuff other people can't see." And I'm like, "What are you talking about?" She's like, it doesn't make any sense to you now, but it will later. You guys can see stuff other people can't see. Don't worry about it. Just go back to sleep. And I laid down, went back to sleep, no problem. And I woke up the next morning. I was like, "What'd that mean?" And she didn't want to talk about it. Yeah. She did not want to talk about it.
So, and it's so weird you say that. It makes my hair stand up. So when she married Earl, which was not my real grandfather, because Bill was Mom's dad, but he was the only grandfather that I knew as far as on Mom's side, because I think I met Bill when I was younger, and I think one time when I was maybe 5 or so, we went to visit, but I didn't know anything about him at all, and so for all I knew, he was the only grandfather I knew, and so he died when I was 6. So he died in 1986, and I remember like not really understand. Like, I mean, I think I understood, but I didn't really understand. At 6 years old, what was going on, and so I remember now, and I remembered at another point in my life, and I'll get to, but so I was talking about, they were talking, Nanny and Mama were talking about me not going to the funeral, because I think I think Nanny was trying to convince Mama that it would be okay and I would understand. And Mama was like, I don't really want him to kind of be in all that and blah, blah, whatever. I ended up not going. But Nanny pulled me to the side one day and said, and I don't remember the whole conversation, but I distinctly remember her saying that, sort of that she said, this won't mean anything to you, but when your pawpaw died, he had a special power and he gave it to you before you died. And he said, you remember he always used to tell you were his little man, and he goes, and he wanted you to have it. And he goes, you'll know what it is when the time's right. And I remember being that, and like I was going around the apartment complex and I was telling people that, I remember saying,
these damn kids are like, this some bitch is crazy.
It's crazy, yeah. And I remember saying it to Mama, and Mama was like, Nanny don't know what she was talking about, blah blah whatever. But again, like you, I remember being older and remembering it, like because we used to have all kind of conversations with Nanny all the time. And I remember going back to her and going, hey, I remember when I was younger and you told me that, like, what are you talking about? Like, what were you talking about? And it was the same deal. She didn't want to talk about it. She was like, you'll know, like you'll see, and I would go, yeah, but don't you think that I should know what it is?
Now? Yeah.
Like, she goes,
the hell is it?
Like, what is going on? Like what's going to happen? And she was like, and she goes, you'll figure it out, and I just go, and then she would just, like she would always do, she would just cut off. She goes, Nick, I don't want to talk about it. And I would go,
and you knew if you pushed beyond that point, you're
right.
getting slapped or you're getting your ass tore out the frame.
Right. And the thing that was crazy about it was like she wouldn't do it in a mad way. She would do it in a sad way where she would, like, you would think she was getting sad about talking about it, which I'm sure she was, because I think she really loved my pawpaw more than anything in the world. But yeah, like and so I never really, and that was the thing. It's really funny that we're coming around full circle, because that was the thing where I go, at one time when I was having those dreams where I was like fighting these fucking things in my dream, I go, well, is that it? Like, was am I like some fucking demon hunter on another fucking plane or something? Like, what the fuck is going on? But again, it goes all the way back to the story where, and this is no lie, Phaedra can come up here and absolutely attest to this fucking story. I was laying in the bed one day, and this was Nanny. Nanny was fine. Like, she didn't have any issues. She wasn't in a nursing home. She was living at the Dempsey. Because like her health declined like really fast, like
really fast.
Yeah, like really fast. And then she got like dementia and so but she was at that time she was fine. Phaedra was in the bathroom, and I can't remember whether she was pregnant or we knew she was pregnant, or I don't think so. But I was laying in the bed. It was like early in the morning, like we were kind of just him-hawing around. She was in the bathroom getting ready, and I remember I could hear Pawpaw's voice. Like, people have distinctive voices, right? Like,
yeah.
And even though he died when I was 6 years old, it was one of those things, like, if you heard his voice, you would just you would know it immediately. Like, I would know it immediately. It's just one of those memories or whatever. And so I was laying in the bed, and I remember hearing his voice call my name. Couldn't see him, but I remember hearing it, and just without even missing a beat, I just go, yeah. And so, like, then it was like in my head, not like having a conversation, whatever. And he goes, your grandma's going to die, right? And I go, what? And he goes, she's going to live long enough to see you have your kid, and then she's going to die. And I go, right. But what was crazy about it was, he said, she'll be fine. He goes, I got her. She'll be fine. And he goes, but she knows. And I go, and I'm not like, remember asking questions, but it wasn't like I was getting answers. It was almost like he had these things he wanted me to know, right?
Yeah.
And that was it. This was so I said, well, when is he gonna die? And he goes, in February. This was before February, so I thought that it was going to be that February that was coming up, because I think this was like around sometime anyway. And I go, well, I mean, we're not going to have a kid before February. He goes, she'll see your kid. And I go, okay. And I didn't think anything about it, right? Didn't think anything about it, but it was just one of those things where it was like happened super fast. And it was, like, again, if people don't know, weird things like this have happened in our life a ton of times. So like, where most people will be like, this is fucking crazy. I'm hearing voices in my head. I need to go talk to a psychiatrist, or, I need to have somebody come bless the house or whatever. This was kind of a normal thing in our like thing. And maybe this is what my grandma was talking about the whole time, like growing up, like this kind of stuff. And maybe we've gotten older now where we've sort of tuned that shit out of our, because like there's some creepy shit has happened where we've just been like, I don't want to, be any part of that at all. And so anyway, Phaedra come out, and I just had the weirdest thing happen to me. Now, again, Phaedra has lived in crazy haunted houses. She can tell you some stories that are fucking ridiculous, right? And so you would think when you tell most people this story, she would go, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, what the fuck have you been smoking? But she didn't. She just goes, wow. She goes, do you think that it was real? And I go, yeah. And that was the other thing I remember distinctly him saying, you cannot tell her that like, you can't go to your grandmother and tell her that you talked to me and she's going to die. Like, you can't go do that, whatever. So I never did. But what actually happened was, her health declined or whatever. And I honestly thought she was never going to live to see Keaton be born or whatever. But she did. But when he was born, like she had already been put in a nursing home. This is when she was like down in Albany, like, and so we went to Albany to see her, and so she got to see Emerson, and then she got to spend Christmas with him, because we went down there to Christmas, right?
Not Emerson, Keaton.
Keaton, yeah, and they all run together, whatever their name is, and so Keaton when he was little, and so Christmas time. And then, she got really sick, and then she died. She really died on Valentine's Day, but they declared it was after midnight when they declared it, pronounced her dead. So it really was the 15th, but she actually died on Valentine's Day. So I'll never forget it. We were sitting. I think you were there.
Yeah.
We were sitting there, and Phaedra goes, isn't this what your grandfather said? And I didn't even think about it until she said it. And I go, damn sure is. Like, holy fuck, man. Like, what?
I remember something crazier than that from that, though. I remember her not like being in and out of it, like consciousness wise. Like she would doze off and then come back. And I remember you guys bringing Keaton into the room onto her side of the bed, and you saying, hey, Nanny, I want you to meet your great grandson.
No. She had met him before. I think I said, look who's here.
Look who's here.
Yeah.
And like nothing happened, set up in the bed and go, hey, Sugarfoot.
Yeah.
That's what she always called me.
Yeah.
Growing up, she called me Sugarfoot. Hey, Sugarfoot. And just like that, just went right back to the state she was in.
Yeah.
It's that quick. And then next thing we know, overnight she had passed away. But yeah, that's, I don't know, man.
And again, I don't know what she meant to you or to me or any of that stuff. I mean, if I have some sort of superpower, I have no fucking idea what it is.
So don't come asking me to solve no crimes, damn it, because I can't.
Right. I don't know anything about anything.
Don't you fuckers go buy me no cake for Christmas.
I'm not a superhero of any kind, but yeah, I mean, I could probably tell stories all night about weird, crazy shit like that.
Oh man,
I'm gonna have so many fucking weird dreams tonight because I'm already tired from not sleeping good last night, and then I'm drinking these drinky drinks.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of drinky drinks, I might have to pause, go get me another drinky drink because
You out?
I'm out.
Yeah, I said 2 fingers. I think my wife thought I said fucking 2 goddamn.
You gonna get this fist, boy?
Yeah. Yeah. 2 fingers. Fucking, I don't know whose goddamn fingers
You
they
gonna
are.
take this love fist I got
These
for
are
you?
cute. Yeah, that's what this is. This is like the fucking Steely Dan of fucking drinks. That's what this is.
All right, I'll be right back.
All right.
Oh,
my God. It's Bullet whiskey though, so it's good shit. But yeah, man, this podcast is taking a weird, crazy turn down paranormal street. Weird. What's even weirder about any of that stuff is that I never saw like ghosts of any of my family members. Like I never saw the ghost of my dad when he died. I never saw a ghost of my mom or my grandmother. My grandmother says when I was younger that I saw we both together saw a ghost of my pawpaw. I don't know about my grandfather, but I don't know if I really remember it happening. I mean, she tells a story, and I think I kind of remember it. I remember like something happening and being scared, but I don't remember it like happening the way that she said it happening. And who knows? I mean, weird things. Again, like I said, growing up, weird things like that happen a lot. But I've never had any. I mean, like even my kids have had some kind of weird things happen or have said weird things where we go, that's strange. You know, like one time we were looking through a photo album and Emerson had no idea. I mean, he kind of knew about my dad, but not really what he looked like or whatever. He was young too. And I go, hey, you know, do you know who this is? And he goes, he's the guy in my room. And I go, what? He goes, yeah, he's in the sky. And I'm trying to remember what he said. He's in the sky. And he says stuff, but I can't hear him because he's too high. That's what he said. He's too high. I can't hear him. And I go, what? What are you talking about? And then like most kids, you try to get them to explain what they're talking about, and they don't know what they're talking about.
All right.
Was talking about like even with all the creepy stuff that happened in our life. Like I don't think I've ever seen like a full on apparition of any of our family members that died. Like I haven't seen Dad or Mom or Nanny or and I said like Nanny used to tell the story like when I was younger we saw Pawpaw when he died, my Pawpaw when he died, but I don't know that. I mean, I would have been 6. I don't know if that really happened or it was just something that she thought happened, and but then I was saying like with Emerson, like even with our kids, like crazy things have happened. Like one time Emerson, we're flipping through a photo album when Dad had a picture of Dad. And he was young, he was real little, and I go, "Do you know who that is?" And he said something. I'm trying to remember exactly what he said, but he said something to the effect of, "Yeah, that's the guy that's in my room, and he keeps talking, but I can't hear him because he's so high." And I go, "What? What are you talking about?" And then like I was saying, like with most things with kids, they don't really like when you try to press them for like, what are you talking about? And
yeah,
I don't know.
I don't want to talk about that. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I think Keaton one time said something about I play cards with him sometimes or something to that effect.
Yeah, and Keaton saw more than Emerson did. Because I remember Keaton saying we were going to get in a truck one day. This is when we lived in Jefferson, when I was living with you guys in Jefferson. And we go to get in the truck. I think we're going to grab some lunch or something, or maybe breakfast. And he goes, Nanny, I can't talk right now. Leave me alone, Nanny.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I turned around like you were like walking out of the garage to get in the truck. And I turned around. What are you talking about? She just won't leave me alone. I'm trying to get in the truck. She won't leave me alone. And then you got in the truck and I told you, what?
Yeah. Well, the other thing that was really strange with Keaton, and me and Phaedra can tell you this too. So, Keaton had a ton of like Matchbox cars, but all of a sudden he would just be playing with these 1 or 2 Matchbox cars that just come out of nowhere. Like you would just look at him like, I haven't bought that Matchbox. Like, where did you get that? You know? And he would have like some weird answer or something, or I don't know. I'm telling you, man, this whole world and universe is so weird, man. And I think we understand about a tip of a whole fucking iceberg.
Yeah.
About how it works and how it's all situated. Which
it makes you think like,
it's probably for the better. I mean, if we knew how it all worked, there would be no mystery or wonder to anything. You know what I mean?
Anything in life, yeah.
Right. It's the same way that I always go, there has to be evil in order for you to appreciate holy or good. Like there has to be bad for you to appreciate good. If everything was sunshine and rainbows, eventually you go, yeah, it's not good enough. You know?
I need something more.
Right. And so you have to have evil in order for you to appreciate the times that are good. And people talk shit about it, but I'm telling you, man, one of the best movies I've ever watched that sort of breaks down like God and religion and things like that is The Shack. Have you ever seen it?
No.
You should watch it. It's I would highly recommend it. I mean, I don't want to get into the whole movie, but basically, it's a long story short. This guy's little girl, who would be hard for you to watch, man. This guy's little girl. I would still say that you should watch it. I mean, it's a really, really like powerful sort of movie. But this guy's little girl gets kidnapped and murdered, right? And the premise of the story is that, like anybody is, he just wants to hunt this motherfucker down and kill this son of a bitch, like make him suffer and kill this motherfucker. Well, in the midst of this, he runs into what is one of the parts of the Holy Trinity of God, and so he throughout the story of the movie, they sort of teach him to forgive this guy for what he did, which again is the hardest thing in the world. Would be the hardest thing in the world for I'm saying right now. There's no way that I probably wouldn't be able to do it, but the movie in the midst of that story sort of makes you understand, right? Like it's easy for you to sit up here and go, yeah, this motherfucker needs to go to hell, right? And but to think of it in terms of you're all God's children, right? You're all deserving of God's grace, right? So regardless of what you do, it's just like your kids, right? And regardless of what they do, you're still going to love them. They're still going to be your kids, right?
Right.
You wouldn't want to see anything awful happen to any of them, right? So it'd be like Braylon being the good, the one that gets in trouble all the time, and Adeline always being the good one, right? And then being in Nazi Germany, and the Nazi go, all right, you get to keep one, right? Just because one was better than the other one doesn't go, all right, shoot this little bitch right here. She's got in trouble all the time. You know what I mean? Like it just doesn't work that way. And so, it's just a really good movie. I didn't think I was going to like it at all because I usually don't really like those sort of movies, but it wasn't really preachy at all. It wasn't like in your face, and it was based on a book. I haven't read the book. Somebody said the book was a little better than the movie. But yeah. By the end of the movie, you'll be bawling your eyes out. Trust me.
Yeah, I ain't watching that.
Just watch it, man. There's nothing wrong with crying in a movie.
Look, let me tell you right now. The old lady's done got on this
sad movie kick.
No. She's rewatching Grey's Anatomy, right? There's certain episodes of that shit. Like I'm sitting there and
try This Is Us. Try This Is Us.
Ugh.
Dude, every other fucking episode of that show is like, holy fuck, man. Yeah.
Yeah. You don't like it? It's just like being a father, that changes shit. Like there's certain shit I can't watch, man. Like I got kids, I can't watch that shit.
Yeah.
Because it puts you in the mindset of what if that shit happened to me? Like what if I were in their shoes?
Yeah, yeah.
What would I do?
Yeah.
What would I not do?
Yeah. And I don't, and again, I don't think you can make those kind of decisions until you're in that situation. I don't,
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I say things all the time. Like, dude, I'm 40 years old, dude. I'm gonna tell you right now, I'll kill a motherfucker and serve 25 in a minute. Don't give a fuck. No. Don't give a fuck. Fuck around.
I play out. As crazy as it sounds, I play out that scenario in my head all the time. Of
I will.
The girl's getting older, something happening, and me just having to, put one in the chamber and go.
Hey, just be like, hey, it is what it is.
Because it's one of those things, man. Like people are crazy, man. You never know what's going to happen.
No, you can't. And first of all, you can't trust anybody.
No.
Because it's always the people that you trust is the ones that fucking are the ones that you end up you're gonna have to kill.
And here's
and every time,
thing.
Every time it goes, oh, he was such a nice neighbor. He was such a good guy. Of course he was.
Yeah.
And he's gonna walk around with fucking people's skins and show you his fucking human skin lampshade? Of course not.
And my thing is, going back to the whole conversation with Nanny is, I've always had that thing about me. 2 seconds into meeting somebody, I just get a feeling. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I have that too, but
I just get a feeling. Well, it's really weird because I get a feeling and then I can tell you why. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that guy has done some shady shit in his past and I just feel it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. But I've always been that way. And like when I started this job, we had to do the whole
watch yourself now.
No. Like, how the employers do the whole, trying to get to know your personality type quizzes.
Yeah.
And I took one, and
it was a disc test.
Yeah. And I took one and of course, had to, didn't have to explain myself, but I was asked.
Well,
and I was like, I've always been that way, man. I said, I'm not standoffish, but it takes a lot to get beyond this this wall I got right here,
right?
Because I don't trust a lot of people, and it's mainly from our childhood because we were shown at a very early age, and almost damn daily, you can't trust anyone, like anyone.
And I don't, but I mean, I don't think it's like. Here's one thing I want to make clear, though. I don't think it's abandonment.
No.
I think it's a matter of
it's almost like
you trust yourself.
Sixth sense. Yeah, it's almost like
yourself. Yeah. And when even in the days when, how do I say this? Even in the days where we were in situations where we're forced to trust people, those people were very few.
Yeah.
I mean, it was, and even those people, like, I only trust them from here to the end of that table, right? Because I knew I knew that if I say that about, and of course I'm not going to name names or call them out, but there were a few people that I knew if the shit ever went down, nothing would have ever happened, or like nobody would have, no bad shit would have ever happened. But there were a few that I was in situations where I had to trust, where I was just like, if the shit was ever go down, this is the first motherfucker that I know is gonna break.
Yeah,
like this motherfucker. I'm in a situation where I have to, but yeah.
And it's one of those things, man. Like to this day.
And let's be clear, we are two totally different people than we were 20 years ago.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, I'm almost 40. I would even say longer than that. I mean, yeah, I mean, it's crazy. And again, like, I don't, I don't get like every now and then I'll get in storytelling mode and like tell Phaedra stories and stuff like that. But other times, dude, like I don't, because like Phaedra used to go, you probably should talk to somebody. Like
you've been through some
you've been through some shit.
Yeah.
And look, I'm sure she's probably right. But again, for me, it's like,
why do I want to dig all that?
Right. What is there to talk about? Right.
You know what I mean?
I don't. I'm first of all, I'm not that person anymore. I don't. And here's the thing, and make it clear right now. I don't need any sympathy from anybody about my life. I don't feel bad about my life. I don't wish that I had grown up any different than I did. Or I embrace all of those things, and I go, all of those things are little pieces of what made me who I am. I'm pretty fucking proud of where I am compared to where I started. And so, I think, as I've gotten older, look, and I tell this story all the time. Anytime that I would even attempt to woe is me, fucking poor pitiful me shit, Nanny would fucking nip that shit in the bud right quick and would just be like, dude, who the fuck why do you think that you're any better than anybody else?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Who the fuck do you think you are that you don't think that you deserve shitty fucking parents and to grow up poor, right? And that was the thing. Like, I love my dad to death, but my dad had this chip on his shoulder his whole life that, like, the world owed him something because he grew up poor, a poor white boy in a fucking rundown house beside a fucking creek in the country. And they go, dude, nobody fucking owes you anything. The only person that's going to change any of that shit is fucking you. And there ain't no easy way to do something about it. There's no easy way out. And that was his thing his whole life. Is he again, I love my father dearly, but the truth is, his whole life he tried to find this fucking easy way out of everything. And here's the thing, my daddy had plenty of times where he hit a lick that should have changed his life, and it didn't do anything but make situations worse. Because again, when you come from that philosophy of not really embracing what it's the same thing like when people win the lottery, right? The motherfucker can win $100 million in the lottery. If he doesn't understand what that really means, right? And he continues his life of, I'm just going to go do whatever I want because I got $100 million. Well, one day you're going to wake up and you got $100 fucking dollars, and then one day you're going to wake up, you got 100 fucking cent. It's just no amount of money in the world is going to change anything. You have to fucking, and so, and that's the way that I've lived my life. And that's why I say, if they would bring fucking meth heads into school and show motherfuckers what fucking meth does to people, nobody would ever fucking smoke meth. You know what I mean? Bring a fucking crackhead into school. Let them tell stories about sucking dick for crack and fucking and fucking tossing people salad in the back of a fucking Waffle House for fucking $2. You know what I mean? Like, let them tell those goddamn stories, and people are like, man, fuck that. I don't want.
Nope, don't want no part of that.
The thing,
like, traumatized.
That's the thing, like they do these fucking Achieve and fucking Dare and all this kind of crazy shit, Advance or whatever the fuck it's called now, and they do all this shit, but they don't teach people how to. They don't teach kids how to live right, live in the fucking real world. Like, there are motherfuckers that leave high school, never wrote a fucking check. They don't understand anything about business or how business works. They don't know what fucking compound interest is or what a fucking mortgage is. And, they don't know the difference between, fucking adjustable rate mortgage and a fucking fixed rate mortgage, and what balloon payments are and jumbo loan. They don't know any of that shit. Right. And again, these are things, they don't even know all of that shit, but these are certain things that these motherfuckers are going to have to know just to survive in the world. Right. And so the saddest thing I ever seen in my entire life was, you can go to, this is no lie, don't believe me, come to fucking Gainesville, Georgia, and go eat at Long Street Cafe. And I'm just calling it out right now. And every year for the as long as you can fucking think about, the seniors of Gainesville High School have signed a fucking picture frame with a picture, like a senior picture or whatever, have signed it and gave it to Long Street, and they hang it on the wall, right? You can go all the way back to like 1998, 97, whatever, right? Start at 97, right? And look everybody signed their fucking name, right? As you get closer and closer to fucking 2020, more and more people don't sign their fucking name and just write their fucking name in English. You know why? Because they don't fucking teach you how to write in cursive anymore. Nobody knows how to sign their goddamn name. And I just looked at, we were just having a meeting one day, and I looked up and I saw it, and I go, are you fucking kidding me? Like I just look up and I just go, nobody signed their. What are you going to do when you sign for a fucking mortgage? You're going to fucking type. Like, come on, man. Just learn. Even if you don't learn how to write scribble, learn how to just scribble your fucking initials and shit. So somebody can't forge your shit.
It's almost like, you see all these, and it always seems like it were okay. Like going back to my high school days, you saw all these people that had all this talent, and talked all this noise about what they were going to do and where they were going to be. You turn around 10 years down the road, 20 years down the road, those are the people, they're not doing shit with their life, right?
Yeah, but a lot of that is complacency though, man.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. But why would you be complacent just pissing off every day to go and get high, to go and party, to go and, you ain't got a job, so you're couch surfing. Like, what kind of life is that? Well,
yeah,
when do you wake up in the morning? It's like, you know what? I don't really give a shit about tomorrow or the next day or the next week or having kids or ever owning a house.
What happens for most people is and God, dude, we're talking about some deep fucking subjects tonight, dude. This is a deep fucking episode. So what happens for most people, man, is it's not just complacency. What happens is it's easy to sit and go, I'm going to do all those things. And especially when you're young, because you think you have all the time in the world, right?
No.
And, it's just like when you get married and you go, we're going to be together forever. Forever's a long goddamn time, right?
No.
You can't see forever, right? And so, you're taking that leap of faith and doing it. But when you're sitting somewhere and you go, yeah, man, I'm gonna get a better job, or I'm gonna go back to school, or I'm gonna stop drinking, or whatever it is that you're trying to do, it's easy for you to go, I'm gonna do that next week, or I'm gonna do that, because you always think that you have all this time.
Yeah.
And then what happens is you realize that a lot of that shit takes actual work. You actually have to do something. You can't just say it and make it happen, right? And I think that's the problem that most people have is it's easy to say that you're going to do something. It's easy to go, I'm going to go out and get a better job, or I'm going to, and even if you're successful, right? Let's say you're somewhere and you're making fucking $80,000 a year and you go, man, I got it made, right? Well, the truth is, as much as it pains me to say it, you could probably swap jobs and make $90,000 a year, but you have to make that leap, right? No. It's easy to stay cushioned where you're at and take that 80. And listen, I'm not. Let me just be clear. I'm not knocking anybody who does that, but you have to understand that in today's market, and I was just reading an article about this the other day. Today's job market is set up more for millennials, where the people who take the risk and jump jobs about every 2 years end up being more successful and making way more money than the people who decide that they're going to take job security and stay where they are for multiple years. And so
absolutely, money isn't success.
Money isn't success. That's absolutely true.
Because I know trust me, I can sit here and count out. I know plenty of people
who have plenty of money.
have plenty of money.
Yeah.
They have anything they could want.
And that was what I was getting to my next.
And they're not happy.
Oh yeah. Money don't buy happiness, but
here's what money brings a lot of those people:
more problems.
And not only brings more problems, it brings fake people around you.
Oh, of course, yeah. Yeah. But here's the thing, and this is what I was getting to. Exactly what Thomas was saying, what TP was saying was, you have to define what success means for you, right? Whether that's $80,000 a year or $30,000 a year, right? Who the fuck cares, right? You have to decide what success means for you. It may mean that you make $25,000 a year and you're putting your art up on whatever. You know what I mean? Like, you have to define what success and happiness is for you. Now, again, let me just go. You can't sit and smoke meth all day and fucking have this and live in a fucking van down by the river and go, this is my success and happiness. That's just bullshit. Now you're just being lazy, right? There's got to be a minimum line somewhere. But at the end of the day, whether it's $100,000 a year or $1 million a year, whatever success is for you, as long as you're taking care of yours and you and yours, right? I don't give a fuck about any of that stuff. Whatever's successful for you is successful for you. But
I'll be the first one to say, like, it took me a long time to, and I battled with this for fucking years, man. And
it's comfortable. You get comfortable.
Well, it's not complacency. I was going more so the route that, I would look around me and want what everybody else around me had at the moment.
But you didn't want to go do what it took to get there.
No. It wasn't that I didn't have the drive to do it. It was that I was so caught up in trying to get what someone else had that I started forgetting about everything that I had.
That you had, yeah. Oh yeah.
How blessed I was and how successful I was in that moment.
So again, and I talk about this guy all the time, man, and this is no bullshit. Gary Vee is one of the fucking greatest human beings on the face of this earth. And just listening to him talk, like, put aside all the fucking business nonsense that he and telling people social media, how to, drive social media and how to grind and make money aside from your regular everyday job, but just his outlook on life in itself, where he just goes, look, man, regardless of anything, the first thing I do when I get up every day is I'm grateful.
Yep.
Just period, point blank. I'm alive. I'm breathing. The people people I love are healthy and they're alive and they're breathing. I'm in America, one of the easiest countries in the world to be successful at. Like, there's so many things for me to be grateful about, right? What the fuck do I have to be? What do I have to be mad about, right? I can't get caught up in whatever. And so, and just not bullshitting with people, right? Like when one of my favorite videos is where he has a guy who comes on and he goes, oh, it's like me and some friends were talking about opening up a weed dispensary or whatever, and he goes, great. He goes, it's a big thing. It's blowing up. He goes, if you're going to get in, you should get in now. It's going to be great. Well, it's like it's not legal in Texas. And so he goes, then fucking move.
Yeah.
Go somewhere where it is legal. And he goes, and so the guy starts. Goes, well, it's not that easy. Yeah, it is. It is that easy. Just fucking load your shit up and move somewhere. And do it. And he goes, dude, I don't know what the fuck you want me to tell you. Like, if you can't do what it is that you have, what it is that you're doing, where you're at, like, uproot yourself and fucking move. Like, and then other things too, where
I'm sorry. You okay over there?
What is she crying?
She was eating a bowl of cereal, dumped milk all over her. Milk
nice.
Running down her tits. There's milk everywhere.
Nice. Hey, and tell her that there's a bunch of people on the internet that pay good money to see some shit.
We could have just sold it. If I would have recorded that video, we could have made a lot of monies.
So the other thing that he had this little girl, where he said, I say little girl, she probably was in her teens, but she had wrote this book or whatever and submitted it to a publisher, and the publisher was like, we're not interested, blah blah whatever. And so she was like, what do I do now? And he was like, submit it to other people. Like, put it out on the internet, let people read it. Like, why do you give a fuck what one fucking person in New York read and said, said about your? Who the fuck cares what one person says about your shit, right? Whether it's, and that's the thing I tell Keaton all the time. I think I've said this on the podcast. That's why it's okay. Who the fuck cares what somebody says about you, good or bad, that doesn't fucking know you? They don't know anything about you, right? So for me, man, I've gotten where, and this is the thing, I can't get caught up in what's good or bad about my situation, right? what I've said is, and my life has become so much better when I just go, here's my situation. I'm just going to fucking kick ass. Period in the story. Period in the story.
Take your situation and make the best out of your situation. Don't worry about anything else.
Right. I don't give a fuck if this person they just hired might be making more money than me. I don't give a fuck if I think that I should be making 3 times what I'm making. Either go get what you think that you're worth, right? Or take the security of where you're at. And whatever you're going to do, just go kick ass at it. Because if you're going to half-ass whatever it is you're doing, there's no need to fucking do it. And so, again, for me, I just wake up every morning, I'm grateful, and I go, let's go do it. And that's it. Whether I'm at home, whether I'm in the office, whether I'm doing college schoolwork, whatever it is, I go, I got to get this shit done, and let's go do it. And so, and my life has been so much easier and so much better because, again, like I said, you don't get caught up in the bullshit, man. You don't worry about other people. You don't worry about what motherfuckers think about what. You don't worry about any of that shit, right? And then you have to define for you what success means. And then the people that stand in front of that, you either take it on head on and go, hey, this shit's not right. Or what's the justification for whatever you feel is wrong, whether you feel, again, that you're underpaid or you feel like somebody's getting something that you feel like you deserve more. You either go and have those conversations and say, what the fuck is going on? Or you go, fuck you, I'm out, and find somewhere else to be.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, in today's world, dude, there's no reason for anybody to not go out and get what they think they're worth, what they want to do that's going to make them happy. It's all out there, right? I'm not saying it's easy. I'm not telling anybody that, but I can tell you what, ain't nobody going to fucking bring it and hand it to you. That's not going to happen.
Knock on your door and
nobody's going to fucking Nobody's going to come knock on your door and go, "Here you go."
Here you go, Bob.
Happen. That shit doesn't happen.
You look like a good guy.
You got to go find it.
And my thing was like, did I want to load all my shit into a car and drive all through the night?
Fuck no.
And move out of state?
No.
Hell no. But what had happened was, I was in Georgia. I got complacent where I was at. Nothing wrong with that. It happens. But I knew, I woke up one day and I knew, like, this is it. Where I'm at, this is as good as it's going to get. I've tried every alley. I've knocked on every door. I've spoke to everyone I could speak to.
Well, let's be real. I mean, you had, for your area, you had one of probably the best jobs you're going to get in that area.
Yeah.
I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah. I mean, the base.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Call it like you see it. Working on the base, it's probably going to be one of the best, places of employment, in that area. The problem was, I'm not ex-military. I'm not part of the good, the good old boy system,
Well, it's like that everywhere, though, even in corporate.
Everywhere, yeah. And, we were going through a rough time, Yeah. And it was one of those things like opportunity knocked and I had a choice, and me and Brittany sat down one night and she was like, what do you want to do? And I was like, I have no choice in the matter. Like I can sit here and I can, 10, 15 years go by and I can say, man, what if, or I can get off my ass. I can do the tough shit that needs to be done. I can leave everything I've ever known behind. And I can go up here and try to kick ass and
And let's be real, it's simple. It's simple to sit and think of 1,000 goddamn reasons why you shouldn't do whatever it is that you're talking about doing. And
all it takes is one split second of saying,
fuck it.
Yeah, I need to do that.
Yep. And I'm gonna say it's anything. I'm not even talking about life-changing decisions. I'm talking about anything. You can wake up in the morning and go, I want fucking Chinese food for lunch. And then all of a sudden you can think of 1,000 reasons why you shouldn't go eat Chinese food. It's not healthy. It's full of MSG and sodium and whatever the fucking case may be. So my thing is the hardest. That's right. TP, you did kick ass.
He tells me that every time I talk to him. So, man, I'm here. All right. So I'm gonna go ahead and just put it out there on the airwaves. That right there is a friend like no other. Thomas Poundstone, sir. Hats off to you, sir. Because I know if some shit ever went down, or if I ever needed someone to give a good swift kick in my ass to motivate me, or to clap, at the back of the auditorium when I'm standing on stage, you, sir, are that guy.
He's the one that's going to start the slow clap.
Exactly. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
That guy.
But he's also he's also the guy that I think either one of us can go, look, we got to go. We're fixing to go hurt some people. You can't ask any questions. You're going to some people are going to get hurt.
TP will show up smiling.
Yeah, and go, whose car are we taking?
Oh, man. And the thing is, man, like, I miss Georgia. I miss all my people. I miss all my friends. Do I hear from a lot of them? No, but that happens, man. Yeah, it took me a long time. Another thing is, it took me a long time to realize that circle that you had years ago, you're not going to have that circle forever.
You're not.
You know what I mean? That circle weeds. It's almost like having your own garden. That garden's going to weed itself out.
Let me just tell you right now. Look, I love John like he's my brother. I love Wes to death too. But man, life happens, man. Like, as much as it hates me to say it, like, days turn to weeks, weeks turn to months, months turn to years, and before long, dude, so much time has gone by. Like, but again, it has nothing to do with them, and there was a time when me and John were trying to email each other regularly and stuff. But again, man, I think he has a government job now, and I'm sure he's fucking ridiculously busy. I'm fucking ridiculously busy. It is what it is. I'm never down. I mean, once Mama died and you moved away, dude, I'm never down there. I don't have any reason to go down there.
No.
And let's be real, man. There's not a lot of good fucking memories down there, dude.
No, and that was my thing. Like,
I mean, there are some. I'm not saying there's not any.
It sucked. When I got up here, I'm all by my damn self. My kids are still in Georgia. My wife's still in Georgia. My friends are still in Georgia. Yeah. That was a fucking tough time.
Yeah.
Being locked inside of a fancy ass, hotel by yourself.
Yeah.
It makes you.
That was your first quarantine.
That was my first quarantine.
Yeah.
So this ain't nothing but a fucking game show to me, Bubba, because I've already been a contestant.
Yeah.
And dude, it sucked. And I would sit there for hours and hours. There's nothing to do. I can't go anywhere because I don't know where the fuck I'm going. Can I go out?
There were plenty of times that I would talk you down off the ledge.
Dude, because I was freaking the fuck out. I was like, dude, I've never, ever, ever done anything like this. But I knew in the back of my mind,
let's throw it out there right. Let's throw it right now. Never once did I fucking baby you. How many times did I go, dude, shut the fuck up and suck it up? I mean,
it's so did TP. TP would tell me the same thing in a heartbeat. Those times
are you fucking kidding me?
With him.
This is what the fuck
shut
you're complaining
the fuck
about?
Up. Do you know what the fuck you just did? Do you know where the hell you're trying to go? Like, shut the fuck up,
dude. Fucking stop! Don't call me with that bullshit. Like
they just handed you, what the fuck you need on a silver platter,
right?
And paying for all this bullshit. You're gonna call me and say you fucking come, bitch. You better not come back home,
right? Yeah. No, man. I just, I had the same thing, dude. I hate that. I hate that us and our family aren't closer. I hate that us and Brandy aren't closer. Like, that shit eats at me sometimes, man. But again, it's life, man. It's the way it is. It's just the way it is.
And I had a conversation with Brandy. I've had this conversation. So, I had this conversation, because Brandy's always wanted us to have that relationship, but I think it took her a long time to understand that I can't come to Forsyth. I have no need to go to Forsyth, because when I roll into Forsyth, or when I roll through Forsyth, and when I roll past Forsyth, there's a lot of fucked up memories.
I don't even like to go through to go to Disney, dude. I mean, I'm headed to the happiest place on earth.
Yeah, and I just don't,
Yeah. I don't stop there, man. I don't like Phaedra tell you, dude, like when we're coming back from or something, I'm like, dude, you need to stop at Zeppelin Road or somewhere because we're not stopping at Forsyth.
No,
there's no reason. There's no reason to stop there whatsoever.
Because it's, in my mind, there's nowhere in Forsyth you can take me that I don't have a.
It's not tarnished in some way. Yeah.
Yeah, a fucked up memory that was meant to be a good memory, but the way shit went for us on our child was just fucked up.
Yeah.
And it's,
So for me, for the longest time, and as I got older, it was a little different, but it was hard for me to come home for two reasons. Like when I used to come home and visit mom and hang out shit. It was hard because like it was almost like you had to sort of put aside that it was tough memories, right? You kind of had to put a smile on your face and act like everything was normal and everything was okay or whatever. When there was a lot of shit that just was not, right? Yeah. But the other thing that was hard for me was like coming back and being like, nothing has changed but you.
Yeah. That's hard, man.
It's fucking hard, man.
That's hard for me to like talk to people from back home and nothing's fucking changed.
Yeah. It's the same people doing the same shit and the same fucking
shit every day.
And then
day after day. And it's like,
and there's a part of you that's it's not even so much that you're sad about it. There's a part of you that's just like, dude, what the fuck is wrong with you? And you want to just fucking go and grab somebody and snatch them and be like, dude, wake the fuck up and go do something. Is this all it's ever going to be for you? You know what I mean? Like, and again, I'm not talking about people that are happy and content. I'm just talking about people that you just know could be so much better than where they're at if they would just fucking go and do something. They
have the talent. They just want to apply it.
They just want to apply it.
They just want to apply it because a lot of people are scared to apply it. And some people are just like,
fear is a thing. Again, dude, there's so many great things. And I said this to you when you were going up there and you're trying to decide to go up there. And I would go, listen, go up there or don't go up there. But the thing that I'm going to tell you, and I said this to you, Hunter, do not go up there because you're scared to go up there. Because of anything that should keep you from going up there, fear should be the last thing. Because everything in your life, anything that's good in your life, right? That's going to be good, that's going to be fucking great memories and life-changing is always going to be just on the other side of that fucking fear. Yeah. And all you got to do is step right over that. Yeah, squeeze past. And then once you get on the other side, you look back and you realize, like, what the fuck was I scared about? Like, there's nothing to be scared of. And
and it's one of those things like, you've never lived out of the state of Georgia. Georgia's all you've ever known. Is all
Right.
Well, you step outside of that.
But there's people that would be excited about that. But I get being like, dude, everything I've ever known is right here in this state. Yeah, I get that.
And it was one of those things like, am I going to come up here? Is it going to be some bullshit? And then I'm stuck up here trying to get back home.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah. But I would have got you home one way. But that was the other thing too. This is the farthest we've been apart ever in our life.
Ever.
Yeah.
Like, ever.
Yeah. And that's
we've never been more than 3 hours apart.
Yeah.
A road trip. Like
road trip.
A couple hours.
And I mean, look, it's still a road trip, but
it's just a longer road trip.
It's just a longer road trip. I mean, it's more of a plane trip now. I mean, I can get on a plane, but
I can get on a plane and be there quicker.
But yeah. All right, man, we've done 2 hours. We've gone off the deep end. We've had some
drinks make Nick sleepy.
Maybe listen, it's not just these drinks, dude. I'm telling you, man, I haven't been sleeping well. And I took, listen, no lie, I took 2 sleep aids the other night. And let's just say that my sleep somnia, the issue I have with my sleep somnia tends to be what I've been told tends to be even worse when I'm taking some sleeping aids. So let's just say Nick's not going to take sleeping aids anymore. That's a story. That's a story for another podcast.
For another. Listen, if you're talking about what I think you're talking about,
I am talking about it, and
hilarious.
I don't know that I even want to put that out there.
Don't you put that on the airway?
Yeah, I don't know that I want to even put that on the airways. But yeah, so yeah, I'm gonna refrain from that. But yeah, man, I haven't been sleeping well. There's a bunch of. I mean, listen, man, working from home has just been, and being quarantined has really. And I'm not gonna. I mean, again, we've been on for 2 hours. I'm not gonna get into a whole thing about it, but it's really been mentally draining on me, right?
Yeah.
Like just the fucking monotony of every single fucking day being exactly the same, and not being able to get a ton of shit done because and listen, this has nothing to do with the people. I work with some of the best people, man, and the great. And my team is great. It's just the fact of, when you work in an office, it's easy to step into a room and have a 5-minute conversation, or just stand at somebody's cubicle or whatever, and get whatever you need to get done. When everybody's at home, everybody wants to have a goddamn teams meeting about every fucking little decision that we have to make. And sometimes I think, even when they pick up the phone, all right, a 5-minute conversation turns to an hour conversation because now you got 1,000 things that you need to talk about. And it just becomes this whole thing where I got 1 million things to do. And if you have me in meetings from 10 to 3, when am I supposed to get it done?
Yeah.
Because my life can't revolve around my job. It's just not. I refuse to let it. And when I shut that machine down at 5 or 6 o'clock or whatever it ends up being, that's it. To the next day. That shit'll be there tomorrow. No. And when I shut it down at 5 on Friday, that's it. It'll be.
And you got those people that just like live to work.
Well, and that's and listen. Okay, we can talk about. Listen, I get money isn't success, but money talks. You pay me the right amount of money, then absolutely, yeah, sure. I would make this company my life. But and again, I make great money. But if you want me to make this company my life, where I'm 24/7 at your beck and call, you got to pay for that.
Yeah,
you got to pay for that, because here's the thing: it's just like everything else. For me to give you my everything, I got to give something else up. Yeah. That costs money, right? My wife's going to have to give something up because, if she has, if I have to spend less time with the kids, she's got to spend more time with the kids, right? So that's less that she can work. So it's about give and take, man. And everybody's got to find out what that balance is. Again, we're going off into a whole nother thing again, but yeah.
Hey, you went there, not me.
I know. But yeah, so I haven't been sleeping well. It's just been, my mental place has been weird. And then it doesn't help when they're delivering fucking sod on an 18-wheeler right outside your window at fucking 4:30 in the goddamn morning.
You shoot him in the ass with
dude. I swear to God, if I'd had a pellet gun, I'd have fired his fucking ass up. Like motherfucker, a paintball
you
gun.
You gonna get this Red Ryder, ho?
I'd have lit this motherfucker up with a paintball gun. I swear to fucking God, dude. I just go, what the fuck would you on a fucking 4 o'clock in the morning on Saturday morning? You think it's okay to come and deliver sod? Like why has it got to be 4 o'clock in the morning? Are you that? And here's the thing: if he'd have pulled up, dude, and he'd have had a whole fucking truck bed full of sod, I'd go, this motherfucker's got a ton of sod to deliver, right? The only goddamn sod on the whole truck bed was what he just fucking delivered. Now you could go, well, maybe he was the last one. Are you going to tell me this motherfucker started at midnight and delivered sod till 4 a.m? No, I don't think so. This motherfucker had one delivery, and he was like, I'm going to deliver this shit at 4 o'clock in the morning. I'm going to take my ass home and go to bed, and I'm going to get Saturday to fuck off. Mm-hmm. Meanwhile, he wakes me up out of a dead sleep. Probably the best sleep I've had in a while because I was on them drinks that night.
Well, them drinks.
And now I'm fucked up forever. Couldn't go back to sleep. Woke up at 7 o'clock to the fucking dog barking because he had to go outside. Little motherfucker. Woo! That's what you hear. And then you go, fine. And you think, fuck this. He'll
go back to sleep.
He'll go back to sleep. He knows I'm not getting up and whoa, motherfucker. All right. Yeah.
All right, guys. Well,
all right. So again, guys, download them on any of the popular podcast places: Apple, Google, Stitcher, Spotify, any of those things. Leave a 5-star review. Subscribe to the podcast, the audio version, so you can listen to it in your car in case you missed something on the show. Again, subscribe to the YouTube channel. go and thumbs up the videos and all that good stuff, man. All of that stuff helps exposure, and more exposure is good for everybody. We want this to go worldwide because I enjoy doing it. And again, it's not nobody's trying to monetize this. Nobody's trying to make money on it. I think this is cool as shit. I enjoy the show. I enjoy doing the show, and so I'd like to have more people watch it.
Obviously, you guys are picking up what we're putting down because our views are getting better and better with every episode.
Yep. And I would tell people too, share it, man. Share this with anybody you think would do it. You know, I mean, we'll get crazy
right there.
Yeah.
Call in.
Yeah, you can call in anytime you want to.
Absolutely.
And even if we're not doing a show, that number right there is a dedicated number for this show. You can call in, leave a message.
Even if it's a subject you guys want us to discuss or you want to see discussed.
And for the audio version, for audio people, because I know you can't, we keep pointing to this number, but you can't see that. So for the people that just do the audio version, number is 678-971-9146. And call and leave a message. And I will play good or bad. You can call and say whatever you want to say. I will play your message on the air.
Oh, on the air.
On the air.
Whew.
On the podcast, I will play your message. We'll discuss it.
Dirty message.
If I said something that you didn't, because listen, we didn't even get into Biden tonight.
Oh.
So we may have to do a bonus episode just about Biden. Just about, dude, I'm so fucking pissed off about that shit. Again, not gonna get into it. But anyway, thanks for listening, guys. Again, subscribe, leave 5-star reviews, do whatever you can to support, share the show, and everybody stay safe, take care. And if we don't see you before, we'll see you next Saturday. Same place, same time. Peace.